Hello, my name's Tony Watkins. I'm honored to be with you for a few minutes today. I want to talk to you about how do you best support a parent who very well themselves may be in need of mental health services. I'm not talking about their child needs mental health services, although what you're going to receive today will help you in those conversations with parents about them getting mental health services for their child. But what about for themselves? You notice maybe they're distressed, maybe they're depressed, they have a high level of anxiety, they're a parent that you hear from very often. So how do you have that conversation? And then after that conversation where you're joining up with them, you're walking beside them, they've developed a little bit of trust in you. They don't feel condemned, they feel supported. It's important to know, where do I refer this individual to? What are the resources in my community, their community, that may help them? Let me take a moment to introduce myself. Again, I'm Tony Watkins. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm the clinical director for the CUL Counseling Center. That's our outpatient counseling center for the Masters of Marriage and Family Therapy program at Campbellsville University in the Louisville Education Center. We're located physically on Dixie Highway in the old Bacon's building. If you're not familiar with the old Bacon's building, it's at the corner pretty much of Watterson and Dixie Highway. We have interns in our master's program who provide counseling on an outpatient basis for individuals anywhere in the state of Kentucky via telehealth, but our primary consumer, our targeted audience, if you will, are residents of Southwest and South Louisville. We're right on the main bus line to make it as convenient as possible for folks to be able to access our services. We're open Monday through Friday currently. During COVID, if telehealth services are requested, some people just can't make it in, or there are other reasons that prevent them from an inpatient setting, we can provide telehealth services as well. So I hope that you'll consider the CUL as a referral source for children that you work with, their family members. We have some very well trained clinicians, and many over the years have worked with JCPS as well. Family engagement is everybody's responsibility. There's not a person in the school system that doesn't have some level of responsibility for engaging the family. But you, the school counselors, you have a very special role. School counselors can be very welcoming, respectful. I read somewhere that they're the keepers of the heart for the school. And so for parents, sometimes the teacher relationship can be rather intimidating. But you, the school counselor, the relationship that the parents, the guardians, the caregivers can have with you doesn't have to be that way. Because you're there not as a teacher, not as an authoritarian figure, not as someone who has that child in their class and they have the rigor of testing and year-end growth. academically for that student. You can be there to walk alongside the parent in a way that perhaps. So we know that parents, those caregivers, are absolutely central to the child's education. And for many parents, many caregivers, especially over this last 16 months of COVID, many have experienced life in a way that they never have. Many have been stretched beyond their capacity. They became parent, they became teacher. Their children were with them throughout the day, trying to learn, and they're trying to help support them the best that they could. So, needless to say that there are going to be parents in your school system who may still be struggling, may still need some additional support as this new school year starts, as do their children. And because the parent is so central to the student's education, I think it's important that as a guidance counselor, the heart of that school, that you're as equipped as you can be to support parents when you may recognize that they themselves may be able to benefit from mental health counseling. We know from research that parents who participate at home and at school in their child's education at least 8 times throughout the year are more likely to see their child succeed. Parent engagement. 42% of parents have participated in an event or helped in their child at school. 33% have interacted with their school's counselor. Now, I don't know what the numbers are for your school or for Jefferson County public school system, but these are national numbers from research done in 2012. So you see that the numbers aren't real high. Perhaps they're higher than what you experience with your system. Perhaps they're lower. But as you think about, how often am I seeing parents and at what percentage? Now, those parents are showing up all the time and very supportive. They're probably not the ones that you're going to be real concerned about going into this next year. So I want to share with you in the time that we have left today just some tools from motivational interviewing. MI, or motivational interviewing, has a lot of research around it. It's been used not just by the mental health profession, but in sales, a lot of different areas. Motivational interviewing is very well known and utilized. So why am I going to share motivational interviewing with you today? It's because of what motivational interviewing is. It's the spirit of motivational interviewing that allows me as a mental health professional, or others, or you as the heart of the school, when we understand what the MI spirit is, we're better able to join with our person, our parent that we're talking with, our client, our spouse, our children. So motivational interviewing is a person-centered, it's evidence-based, it's goal-oriented method for enhancing intrinsic motivation. that intrinsic motivation that lies within all of us to change. People don't want to stay stuck. They don't want to be depressed. They don't want to be anxious. They don't want to be angry. They want to change. But very often they feel condemned. They feel misunderstood and judged. So using MI, we can connect with a person to help them explore and resolve ambivalence that they may be experiencing. That ambivalence of, I want my child to succeed, but how can I be responsible for that? I bring them to school. It's your job to teach them, but I want them. I'm their parent. It's my responsibility. So many parents just don't feel welcomed, perhaps, to be part of their child's education. Perhaps they don't feel competent. So we want to tap into that intrinsic desire to see their child succeed. How do we do this? We create an amplified discrepancy between what perhaps they're saying and doing currently and what their broader goals are. When your parent that you're talking to says, I want my child to succeed, and you're experiencing that they're really not taking actions that are beneficial for their child's success, you want to lift up that discrepancy, that ambivalence. We do that by creating cognitive dissonance between where they are, what they're actually doing, and where they say they want to be. We're not talking about a therapy session here. These skills will help you to take a non-adversarial position with the parent all around the issue of their child's success. And as you're lifting up that ambivalence, that discrepancy between what they say they want and what they're demonstrating, you can very gently talk with them about their own distress, their own pain, their own fears, in a way that is not judgmental, but encouraging. Encouraging them to, perhaps there's someone that you can talk to. I've got some resources available where you can go for, talk to somebody about what you're experiencing. Motivational interviewing is simply making known what you already know. But in our making known, motivational interviewing allows us to approach the individual in a way that's respectful, in a way that is honoring to that person, rather than coming across as condemning or belittling. It's a compassionate conversation. A compassionate conversation that we have with others. So notice these concentric circles: compassion, evocation, partnership, acceptance. These are who you are as the heartbeat of the school. You want a partnership with parents. You have to accept them. You have to approach them with acceptance and compassion. But you want to evoke them to change. And perhaps that's through getting some services for themselves. But notice right there at the center where these circles meet, the motivational interviewing spirit. That's when we are working in the sweet spot. These characteristics, these qualities of who you are coming together. And those coming together help inspire, motivate, touch a parent, a caregiver, to allow them to, here's somebody who cares, who's looking out for the best of my child and my best interest. Some common human reactions to being listened to, and that's what motivational interviewing is really about, is us learning to listen in a caring, compassionate, evocative way. So when we're listened to, we feel understood. It allows us to want to talk more. It helps us to be more open, feel more accepted, more respected, more engaged in the conversation. It actually leads to us being able to make change when we feel like we're being listened to. It feels safe. It can empower the individual, gives them hope. There's a level of comfort there in that conversation. They feel like they're on an equal field rather than being talked down to. It leads to the individual wanting to cooperate. The engaging element of motivational interviewing. We're engaging not just by listening. We're engaging by inviting them into our office. And we turn off the ringer to our phone. We set down our cell phone. Perhaps we put a please do not disturb sign on the outside of our door, and we let the parent know that we're doing that, because this is very important. Listening to you, being present with you, putting all potential disturbances aside. You're important to me. I want to hear your story. I want to know more about what's going on. I want to value you as a person, not just as a parent, but as a human being. So when we're able to engage that individual, they have to feel safe, right? We're not taking copious notes. Looks like we're keeping a file on them. We're just present with them. We're open. If able, instead of sitting behind a desk, we're sitting out with them so that we're not in a place of authority. I know that right now you may be thinking, Tony, when do you think I have time to do this? And I know time is a precious commodity for you. But 15 to 30 minutes with this parent, engaging them, creating this sense of safety and understanding, it could pay off big dividends throughout the year. You become their ally, their support. Now, yes, there are those who may take advantage of that, may be very needy, right? That's where your professional boundaries come into place. But the 15 to 30 minutes that you can take to just join with that parent, encourage them. Perhaps next time you talk to them and it's in a private setting, you just check in. So Were you able to take advantage of the referral list I got you? Are you talking to somebody? I hope things are getting better. I hope you're feeling better. Hope you're less stressed. How are things with your child? I know that you're really concerned. Developing that alliance. When they feel supported, they feel like you're a trusted person who cares about them. That motivates them. So here are some tools that I want to just share with you. They're called OARS, OARS +1 in motivational interviewing. So how do we engage that parent so that they begin to open up, they begin to feel more aligned with us? Well, we use open-ended questions. Rather than yes or no questions, does your child do this? Has your child done that? Have you considered this? Ask open-ended questions. So what have you considered? What have you done to try to support your child around this issue? Who do you talk to when you're feeling distressed? Have you ever considered, would you be willing to consider a counselor that you could work with? Making sure that we're asking as many open-ended questions. Kind of a rule of thumb that I teach therapists is never ask more than 2 closed questions in a row. Always shoot for 3 open-ended questions in a row to every 1 closed question. 3 open-ended to 1 closed question. The A stands for affirmations. We want to affirm, not in a false, Pollyannish way or condescending way, but affirm the parent. I'm really impressed. I'm glad that you're here. You must care so much about your child. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come talk with me. So affirm them, affirm what they have done. Maybe it's not always done in the best way, the most productive way, but find as many things that you can affirm them, because that draws them to you. How many parents have you talked with in your career who felt like they're only condemned? That they get no affirmation, they get no pat on the back for the things that they have tried to do. The R stands for reflections. As you're listening to the parent, reflect back what they say. Just simply reflect it back. So last year was really tough. 4 kids at home. You're there with them all day by yourself, trying to help them navigate NTI, trying to help them all do their homework. You only got 1 computer. Reflect back what you hear them say. There's something about us hearing back what we've said that is so connecting with that person. The S stands for summaries. So as you're listening, every few minutes, 5 or 6 minutes, summarize back what they've said. That deepens the level of the connection. It deepens the conversation. Wow, this person's really listening. And so when I think of summaries, I think of putting the information in a box, closing it up, and putting a nice bow on it and handing it back to the person. It's a gift, those summaries are. And then the plus I is information. Very respectfully, offer information. Here are some resources that I'm familiar with that offer, counseling support to parents just like you. I know many people who access these support services, and it really makes a difference. I talk to a lot of parents who report back to me that, hey, it's so good to have somebody who can be objective, who can help me perhaps see things differently, who can help me with my depression or my anxiety or my anger. So the information is a very important aspect, but you've got to go through the process of developing some trust with them, opening up that relationship before they may be willing to accept the information from you. So have your resource list available. Again, the CU Well Counseling Center, we're available. We have interns that are very well trained. They're supervised by nationally approved supervisors. Our program is a nationally accredited program, and we would love to be a resource for you. And I know there are 7 counties. There are many referral resources that are available for you. So have that resource list available and offer it to your parent that you're working with, whether it's a need that they have for their own counseling or a need for counseling for the children. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this was helpful for you, learning about the OARs. Thank you so much for all the work that you do, your dedication to your school, to the students and their families. And I hope that this is a really positive school year for you. Be well. Thank you. Bye-bye.